Hi everyone, my name is Paola. Nina asked me to do a little video for your course on my background as an ex-diplomat for the Colombian government. So I worked as a diplomat for the Colombian government for 6 years in Canberra. It was a very interesting experience. I got to negotiate a number of agreements for the Colombian government, including with the Pacific Alliance, as well as air services agreement and some mining and energy memorandums of understanding. Back at the time, it was quite important to really build partnerships and alliances because Colombia is not a big strategic partner for Australia. So that was a lot of the work we used to do back in the day. Just to give you a little bit of more background on who I am and how did I become a diplomat. I'm a lawyer by training. I also did some courses on economy and international relations. After that, I did some the Master of Business Administration, as well as a Master on International Business. And further to that, after I moved on from diplomacy, I have sort of like got more into the technical side of things now that I'm in the mining industry. What is very important as a diplomat is to understand what are the key objectives of the country that you are representing and ensuring that they come as a key message every time you're engaging with a counterpart, be it from the host country or the countries that you're building alliances with or have got some partnerships with. In the case of Colombia, we always work together with like-minded countries like Peru, Mexico, and Chile. And as a result of that, the Pacific Alliance was always the bloc that will represent like-minded countries from Latin America in Australia and New Zealand. At the time, we were covering both Australia and New Zealand, so it was quite important to always be mindful of what were the objectives that Colombia needed to pursue in those two jurisdictions. In addition to that, it is quite important for you to keep in mind who are your key allies that are not part of the like-minded bloc of countries that you are part of. So, for instance, in the case of Colombia, that will be Canada and the US. And with that, you sort of like to piggyback on a lot of their initiatives and make sure that you're always getting something out of them as well, and that you're being part of you're being invited to be in the table and negotiate whatever it is that you want to achieve as a country. From a negotiations perspective, I think the key thing is to understand what your boundaries are, how far you can get, and how little you can compromise or not in terms of the agreement that you're trying to achieve. With that, just make sure that you're never making promises that you cannot deliver on, and whatever that you can be flexible on, you can use to build up relationships with those counterparts. So, for instance, in the case of Colombia, we will not be so strong in certain areas, but some others we will be as a country. So, for instance, yellow cake or taking waste of uranium into Colombia from different jurisdictions, a no-go. However, if you could sort of like find a middle ground where you can keep sort of like the understanding and developing of the technology that can help you at some point take yellow cake into the country as waste from other jurisdictions, you may continue the relationship in that sense. What not to do as a diplomat, just ensure that you are always clear on what your country wants, right? And don't come in too hard too soon. Because with that, diplomacy is one of those long games places where you just really need to be patient and really need to build a lot of relationships before you can deliver an outcome. So it's just very important to play the long game and keep that in mind with everything you do. So don't come in too hard too soon. That doesn't usually work. And from a negotiations perspective, try to always bring along those parties that will support you from a technical perspective. As a diplomat, we will be very good at building relationships, at opening new doors, at getting into the door with people who are key for all the matters that we need to cover and discuss. However, we are not the technical experts in areas. So that's why every time I negotiated an agreement, I brought along with me energy, mining, air services experts, etc. That could be the counterpart and resolve all the technical doubts that every party will have in relation to the agreement. It's a very fulfilling career. If you do enjoy what you're doing, and if you really like to get into different areas every day of your life, because one day is never the same, and you don't do a lot of repetitive tasks as a diplomat. You're constantly looking, reporting, finding the next opportunity for the country that you're representing. So keep it up, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you go in your career. Bye bye.